Hello, folks. My name is Melvin, and welcome back to this amazing place that we call the internet. Now, when it comes to social media, I'm always hesitant nowadays to use social media, except YouTube. YouTube's the only one I use on a regular basis for long periods of time. But I don't know. There's just something about the internet where it's not a great place to have conversations anymore, and it's very toxic. But at the same time, that's kind of what it was designed to be. It was designed to be a toxic environment because that's how you gain the most interaction, and that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone anymore. It really should just be a fact of life. And I'm trying to find ways to just have it be as less toxic for me. I'm trying to find ways to sort of counteract that. But still, one of the best ways to kind of manage your anxiety a little bit when it comes to the internet is to just use as little of it as possible. But I found a very interesting Reddit post that actually was trending on the page, and it was what is a reason to live? And I think it's a great question. I think it's a great question. Really, what is a reason to live? Because when you think about it, and for me, I always like just pointing out facts. I always like doing that. So it's like when you're dead, that's it. You're done. That's it. Like, just kind of, there is a satisfaction to being done with something, and that's true. I'm not saying that's a good enough reason to die, but it is a reason, and it is a reason to consider. I do feel like, you should always point out all the facts and things like that. Now, of course, I'm always going to say, no, there's tons of reasons to live. There's always reasons. Even when you're in kind of even when you're in a worse situation. And I think just for me personally, it just has to do with kind of the idea of just always going upward, just kind of, even when you're down, you can still go up. And that's a very satisfying feeling. And it's a very liberating feeling to have, because the world is always pushing you down, but you keep going up, when you choose to. So that's just one of them. But we're just going to go down and just kind of see some of the interesting ones that I find. Let's view the conversation. I like this one right here. Because if I killed myself, a bunch of freaking girls who bullied me in school would post about me on Instagram and say how sad they are and how nice they were to see me. That's kind of funny. I like that one. Because like if you go on social media and you see someone you knew died, but they're gonna show remorse even if you guys didn't have the best relationship. So I love how it's just like for not giving the satisfaction to people you don't like. It's still a reason to live is a reason to live. So to outlive my enemies. And as funny as this is, I think you should have goals. You should have aspirations. You should try to set your mark high. And it's, even if it's something like this, to outlive enemies. I don't know. You can do a lot with a life. You can make the most out of your life. You can, one of the things people don't consider when, just in general, I feel like, is you can do so much for people. You can give your all to donating your time and to sacrifice for others. You can start working for a charity. You can work for a nonprofit. You can donate your money. Like, if you're really not finding satisfaction in what you do or the money you have, then maybe start giving it away to charity. That's definitely something you can do. But having goals in life is, I think, a very underappreciated tactic to have. Hot showers is all I need. Hey, video games, just, you could say, hey, like, if I die, who's going to play all my video games? Something like that. There are fun ways to answer this question, as bleak as it can sound. One for me is music. Just when I thought music was getting stale, this year I discovered my new favorite artist, and it makes me excited for what other amazing music I'll discover in the future. Edit. Many people have been asking me who the artist I mentioned is, so I figure I put it here. It's Phoebe Bridgers. So when I actually checked this post, he didn't actually say who the artist was. So now I know, Phoebe Bridgers. And just a quick side note on music. Yeah, music is amazing. If you don't take the time to find new artists, you are seriously missing out. Just take the time that you go on social media, just put that into finding music. Oh, it'll change your life. It really will. For a while, when I was really depressed, what kept me going was the small things. A video call with a friend, seeing my friend's cat, a great meal I was waiting for, a movie I'd been wanting to see. The small things eventually add up to a series of lived days, and the days become weeks and months and eventually years. This one's a great one because I just started reading a book called The Compound Effect. And the idea of the compound effect is you start off really, really small. You start off really, really small. But as you keep adding and 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 adding, you can't even see my hands anymore. So you're not focusing on the short-term goals. You're focusing on the long-term goals. And this helped me a lot when I didn't even realize it was the compound effect, but it helped me a lot when I was going through something what I thought was depression. I was just really in a bad phase in my life. And I said to myself, if I try as hard as I can to make my life as good as possible, to do as many good things for me as possible, then I feel like that will eventually start to outweigh the bad. And that's how I started dieting, and that's how I started exercising. And it sucked at first. It was really hard at first. It was actually really cold when I started. I was walking, and it was really cold, and then I didn't want to pay for the gym membership, but I did it. I was eating vegetables I didn't like. I was eating celery, but now I'm learning to tolerate them, and now I'm learning to counteract my hunger. And now I'm actually starting to get into strength training, which I couldn't have done with my previous weight. So, and I think this is a great, I love this. I love this. This is great for just anything you're doing. Minutes turn into hours, hours turn into days, days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, and you can do that with any goal, but you have to start the goal and you have to be consistent. It doesn't matter if that consistency is small or big. If you want it to be big, I'm definitely that kind of person, like go big or go home, but start small. You can always go big later, so start small. And then I actually stopped reading from there. But let me see if there's any more good ones. Mood and circumstances are temporary. Death is permanent. 32 was the worst year of my life. I thought I might die at one point. Had I died, I'd never taken the best vacation of my life. I'd never become an uncle. I wouldn't have been there to help family and friends through their own problems. I don't regret a moment of living, no matter how painful it gets. Yeah, you have to start. If bad emotions are truly outweighing all the good thoughts you might be having, all the good things in your life, start jotting them down, start writing them down, and start figuring out the elements of that problem. Start figuring out what elements are in your control and what elements are not in your control. And then also something I'd recommend is just also listing off the good things and start doing that as well. But with that one, you're trying to figure out why that's good and why you like it, and maybe why it changes your life and why it brings you hope. Start really focusing on those issues you are having. Start focusing on your life. Your life is very important, and we don't manage our minds enough. And I think we should start doing that. And then is there anything else that's, I don't know. Let's see. I think all of this is just kind of the same. All right, let's see this one. For me, a big one is curiosity about lots of stuff, including what happens in the world in weeks, months, and years to come. Plus, there's always the possibility you might someday find joy in another person, but there's zero chance of that if you don't show up for it. Another thing, something I think we all forget to realize is we do bring joy in someone's life. We do. You don't realize it. Some of you don't realize it, but it's true. You do bring joy in someone's life. You do make someone happy when they think of you. I have yet to find a person. I've met a lot of people that I just cannot tolerate at all. But all of those people that I know, they either have parents that love them, they have either aunts or uncles or family or friends. There's always someone, that wants to see them thrive. There always is. Always. And that's because genuinely you have the good qualities in you, and you just have to figure out what those are. And it's always interesting just talking about things like these, because let's be honest, I'm talking about it like it's an easy conversation to have. Like it's very easy to just say, oh, just start doing things and things will get better. And as much as it's like, that's not how it works, it kind of is how it works. As much as it sounds like it doesn't work, that's how it works. As much as whether you like to believe it or not, it kind of is how it works. It's a lot simpler than you think it is. And the reason why I know that is because I did it. I try not to give advice of things I don't do. I always try to give advice of things that I do. So that's why I always, that's why I have the opinions I have, is because of life experience or good advice I've heard from other people and things like that. And again, I've always had criticisms of the way I think and the way I do things. I've always had criticisms all my life. Most recently was just, there was someone who was arguing again, like I have a philosophy of, always trying to find ways to think positively. And one of the examples was just, it's a great problem solving skill. I owe a lot of money. How can I find ways to stay positive? It's a problem solving skill, because when you just give in to your first emotion, that's not always the smart thing to do. That's not always the smart choice to do. And you got to figure that out. You have to figure it out. Is it smart to rage, or is it smart to, kind of mope about it? Are those smart decisions? Or is a smart decision to kind of find a way to make it more positive, make it happier? There's just things like that. That's just one example, but I don't know. I was talking to someone on Discord, and they thought that it's not a really good thing to do, that thinking positive, it just kind of distracts you, that it's more productive to just kind of be neutral, to just kind of admit that the world is a bad place, and stuff like that. And I didn't really argue with that person. I just said, hey, you found something that works. Great. Good on you. I'd personally prefer if they thought because, hey, everyone wants to be around positive people, even when they don't admit that they do. They want to be around positive people. They want people to share joy with them. Everyone wants that in one way or another. Maybe not in the way where they're happy all the time, because that does start to be fake. And I'm not that kind of person. I always admit when things suck, because it's the truth. But you can always put a positive spin around it. Maybe you can make a joke out of it. Maybe you can start finding ways to say, hey, let's play a video game. Life sucks right now. Let's play a video game. You can always find ways around it. And I don't know how I'm going to get people to be convinced of that idea. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense to people. I don't know if what I'm saying will latch onto them the way it latched onto me. It took a lot of time for a lot of these ideas to latch onto me. But it's a great I'd just try it. Try just taking like 10 minutes of your day and just thinking about it, listing things down. If you have a problem in your life, start listing the elements of it. Start figuring it out. What are the exact things that are bothering you, you know? And you can do this with anything. And maybe one day I'll go into extreme details about it. But for now, it's just, I don't know, this was a fun video to talk about, you know? So yeah. You know? And once again, this video, I'm trying to make it as much about me as possible. I'm trying to find the most positive elements about me and put it on this YouTube channel, trying to, you know, I want to be interesting too. And I'm going to be talking about things that aren't exciting, but I want to share some sort of positivity and some sort of communication with, you know, the internet. So please like this video, subscribe, share it, you know, all those things. I don't like saying that really, you know, I want to just strictly talk about entertainment, but you know, YouTube is YouTube. So I have to start playing the game. But yeah, take care, folks. Have a wonderful day.